Okay, so let's talk about rate of change. So rate of change is basically a ratio of how one thing changes based on, the change of another quantity. So, for example, right, if you have, something like this, right, this is one x value, this is another x value, okay? So rate of changes, if you change the x's by that much, right, how much does the y values change? Do the y values change, okay? So that's why this is the change in the y's, we call it delta y. This is the change in the x's, we call it delta x, and that ratio is rate of change, all right? So it's how much the y changes relative to how much the x changes. So when you have data like this, okay, and you want to find the rate of change, what you would do is you would pick 2 points. Any 2 points will work, really. So you can pick this one and this one. And now what you want to do is, for the rate of change, you want to do the change in the y value. So in this case, the change in the y value is 48 minus 24 over the change in the x value, 8 minus 4. And this is rate of change. Okay, so 48 minus 24 is how much? 24. Over 8 minus 4 is 4. So this is 6. So that's the rate of change. Okay, now magically, if you were to pick any other set of 2 points, you would still get the same answer. Okay, if it's a linear function. Okay.
So this is only applies when they all
Right. So another way to represent this is slope, right? Slope, which is given the symbol m, is found if you have 2 points, right? You name one of them x1, y1. You name the other one x2, y2. And then the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And that's exactly what we did here, right? The change in the y, the change in the x. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. We did it conceptually. We didn't even know that we were following that formula, okay? So, all right. And you guys know all about how to find slope because we've been doing it since algebra. Now, right. So a few things about slope. If you have a slope which is a positive number, positive slope, then when you graph that line, it is an increasing line, right? Now, graphs in math are read from left to right, like English, not Hebrew, right? So left to right, this is increasing. So that means it has positive slope, or vice versa. If it has negative slope, the graph will be decreasing. If something has 0 slope, it's constant because there is no change in the y value, right? Remember what slope was? How much does the y value change when you change x values? Well, here, when the y value doesn't change, there is 0 change in the y value, there is 0 slope. A vertical line is when you have undefined slope, right? So basically, take a look here. Suppose this first line here, the positive, has a slope of 2, right? When you make it steeper, let's say it'll have a slope of 3, and 7, and 11, and 100, and 1,000, and 1,000,000. By the time the slope is an infinitely high number, the line becomes totally vertical. So it's an undefined slope, okay? All right. So how to find the slope here? So we call this x1, y1, x2, y2, okay? So m is going to be 2 minus 8 over 4 plus 3, negative 6 over 7. That's it. We do not do a mixed number. but definitely you have to simplify, right? It also can't be like 24 over, whatever, 14. Yeah.
Does it have to be y3 minus y1 if we need y1 minus
Okay, so that's what I was going to say next. Now, if you call this one x2, y2, and this one x1, it's the same. So no, as long as you're consistent, right? You can't do 1, 2, and then 1, 2 for the x's. All right, let me do another one, and then I'll take your question. So take a look at this one. M is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 6 minus 3. This is 0 over 3, or 3, which is 0. Okay, so M is 0 for this one. And notice here, the y values are the same. So you can already predict that the slope is going to be 0, right? Because the y values are the same. There is no 0 change in the y, but this is a way to show your work. So always show your work. Okay. Did I answer your question? What was it?
Do we still need to do all this work if we can tell that the
Right, at least show me this, and then you can say it's 0. Okay? Yeah.
But if it was both positive 5, then
It would still be the same. 5 minus 5 is still 0. Right? Okay.
So what's the exact formula for it? Because is it like x? How do you know which one's x1?
It doesn't matter. So let's be a rebel. Let's call this one x1, y1, and this one x2, y2. It still works out to be the same. So here we'll get 1 minus negative 6, 8 minus 8. It'll still work out to be the same. So this is
y2 minus y1.
right, over x2 minus x1. So here we get 7 over 0, so it's undefined. Do not, okay, so you have to show me it's something over 0. Never leave your answer as something over 0. You always have to go the extra step and say it's undefined. So on the answer space, you always have to say undefined. Yeah.
so for this one, I did it like opposite, so I did like y, like I just switched the y2 and the y1.
It's okay, you should have still gotten the same.
Then I got negative 7.
It's still over 0, it's still undefined.
Okay, but like let's say it was
Right,
under
but
0, like
so then the bottom would also be negative and they would cancel out. Okay, so here, 4 over 3 minus 5 over 3 over negative 1 over 4 plus a half. So this is going to be negative 1/3 over what? A quarter. Right? So this is negative 1/3 times 4, negative 4 over 3. So that's a decreasing line, right? Okay, here, same situation. So go ahead and do E and F for me, please. Okay, so this is a slope of 2 and negative what? 1/4. Okay, next. Find the value of R so that the line that passes through these points has the given slope. So now, here are my 2 points, here is my slope. Same situation. This is the slope, M is equal to y2 minus y1, 3 minus r, over 3 minus 6, right? So 2 is equal to 3 minus r over negative 3, cross multiply, negative 6 is equal to 3 minus r. So negative r is equal to negative 9. R is equal to positive 9. Okay? All right. Here, we want to find the rate of change, right? So remember, rate of change is slope. It's the same as slope. So if I have an equation, y equals mx plus b, that m is the slope. So maybe we can write this as y equals something, right? So let's see. Negative 2y is equal to 16x plus 41.
so 41 would be.
Yep. Not yet. We're not done yet, right? So now divide everything by negative 2. So y is negative 8x minus 41 over 2, and this number is the rate of change.
Why is that number related?
Because, so remember how when you have y equals mx plus b, m is the slope. Rate of change is slope. So it's the same thing. All right? Okay. So with that, why don't we do some equations of lines? I know you've also done this before, right? So, not parallels, lines. So equations of lines, there are two forms that they can exist. One is point-slope form. Point-slope form, you need a slope and a point. And then the formula is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. All right? Do you need to memorize this? Yes, you do. The second one is slope-intercept form. And, you know, that's the one everybody knows best. Y equals mx plus b. It's very important that you are familiar with both of these equally well, because this is used in like many places. This is used very widely in calculus, so you have to be equally comfortable with both of them. Okay? All right. Yes.
Is y and x in the point slope form?
Let me do this and you'll see. Okay. So write the point slope form, then convert to slope intercept form, right? So point slope form, you take your point, this is going to be called x1, y1. Okay? So for point slope form, this is going to be y minus y1, which is this, is equal to m 1/2 x minus x1, which is 2, right? So y and x are the variables. y1, x1 is what gets substituted, okay? This is it. This is point slope form. It's that easy. Now I need to distribute this and create slope intercept form. So y minus 3 over 5 is half x minus 1, right? So how much is y then? You have to add the 3 over 5. Y is equal to half x. If you add 3 over 5 to negative 5 over 5, what do you get? Negative 2 over 5.
Plus 2 over 5.
Negative, minus.
Because you already have the
Right, because it's minus 1 plus 3 over 5, right? Which is, yeah. Okay, yes.
Are those numbers like the 2 and 3 and 5? Are those always going to be x and y?
Uh-huh.
Could they never be like x and y?
Mm-mm. Because x and y are the variables. They stay in as x and y. Yep.
How do you get the negative 1 again?
Oh, I distributed the half
Oh.
here. Okay. Here. Passes through this and this, so x1, y1. Okay. And then that's the slope. So y plus 1 equals negative 3, x plus 2. That's it. That's point slope. Distribute. Negative 3x minus 6. Y is equal to negative 3x minus 7.
point slope also called standard form.
No,
That's different.
that's totally different. I don't really do standard form because it's really not used in a lot of places, so I pretend like it doesn't exist. In middle school, that's a thing.
Yeah,
It's ax plus by equals c, and they all have to be integers.
yeah, and I hate it.
It's really no, there's really no use for it
When
anywhere.
I put in point slope form, do you want me to simplify it? Or
No, just leave it like this. Leave it like this. It's got to be y minus y1 equals m.
Nothing simplified, not even the proportion.
So for these two, are we finding m also?
Yes. Okay. Yep. Okay. So here first we're gonna find m, right? So m is 5 plus 3 over 3 plus 1. which is 8 over 4, which is 2. Now, for the point slope form, it's like black magic. You with me?
Yeah.
Okay. You can use any one of the points. So you know what? I'm just going to use this one because I like negatives, right? So y plus 3 is equal to 2x plus 1. Now, if you use the other one,
Wait, how did you get 2?
if you use the
Oh,
other one, this is going to look different. Y minus 5 equals 2x minus 3. That's okay. However, once you solve for slope-intercept form, both of them will give you the same equation. All right, so let me do this one and then I'll take your question. Y plus 3 equals 2x plus 2. Y equals 2x minus 1, and that's that. Okay, yeah.
Would you say that if we do it 2 times, like, that we should check it?
Don't do it 2 times. It's too much time.
Okay.
Just, yeah. Okay, so negative 5 minus 1 over 1/3 plus 1/3. Negative 6 over 2/3. Whoops, not 23. Which is negative how much? It's negative 9. Okay? Okay. So, y minus 1 equals negative 9, x plus 1/3. And that's good enough. Just leave it like that. Now,
Wait, why did you get negative 1? It's
I'm using this one.
right, but isn't it positive? Yeah, but you do
Right, it's y minus that one. Y minus 1. Okay, so y minus 1 is equal to negative 9x minus 3. So y is negative 9x minus 2. Yeah? Okay.
Sorry, that was really frustrating.
Okay, so let's talk more about slope. Parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have slope which is the opposite reciprocal of the other. So reciprocal with a negative, yeah? Which means if you have a slope of 2/3, the slope for the perpendicular line is how much? Right. So let's write point slope form and then convert to slope intercept form. Passes through this, so this is x1, y1, perpendicular to this. So I take this, and now the slope of the perpendicular line is 3/5. That's the slope I'm going to use. So y plus 3 is 3/5 x plus 9. So that's the point slope form. And then when I distribute plus 27/5, right? Why can't I get that 5 down there? Right, so I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides.
So 3x plus 12 over 5.
Right, so y is equal to 3/5x plus 12/5. Okay, questions?
Can I create a mixed number, or do you want to?
I prefer improper fractions. Mixed numbers are so middle school. Yeah?
Sorry, I totally.
Okay, let me do this one. So now we want a line that passes through this point parallel to this. So we're going to use the same slope. Y plus 10 is equal to 7/8 x minus 4. That's it for point slope form. So hang on.
Yeah.
Y plus 10 is 7/8 x distribute minus 7/2. Now, minus 10 minus 10. So y is 7 over 8x minus, so this is 7 over 2 minus 20 over 2, right? So it's negative 27 over 2. Okay, hang on. Let me finish these and then I'll take more questions. Okay. So here, for these, you want an equation in slope-intercept form. So if it's slope-intercept form, that's y equals mx plus b. And we're going to do as little work as we possibly can, which means first find the slope. And generally, what I'm going to do, let's find the slope here. Generally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to like give you 2 points so you know where to look at, right? Because sometimes like in between here, it's kind of tricky. So go with the points I've given you, and you can even, you can even like, you know, do a shortcut here, right? So you should always go from left to right. So in going from here to here, where do we go? We go down 8 and over 6, right? So the slope is negative 8 over 6, negative 4 over 3. Now, I also need a y-intercept, which is that point, right? So b is equal to how much? 7. So then it's just negative 4 over 3x plus 7, right? Okay, go ahead and do the next one. Okay, 5x minus 3. Awesome. And you know, remember, like this line is decreasing. You should have negative slope. That line is increasing. It should be positive slope. In an honors class, I would expect for you guys to catch those things, right? If you happen to like forget the negative or something. Okay, the sales of a sandwich store increased approximately linearly from 52,000 to 116,000 during the first 5 years of business. Write an equation that models the sales y that models the sales y after x years. Determine what the sales will be at the end of the 12 years. So, okay, what do we need here? We need an equation, okay? And we're told that this is linear. That means the equation has to be y equals mx plus b. That means first I need to do what? The slope. I could do the slope, right? I need to do the slope. So now, if it's during the first 5 years, okay, so let's find the rate of change first. Okay, so it went from 52,000 to 116,000. But now, take a look at this. At 0, at t equals 0, were there any sales? No. So really, it didn't start until the end of the year, right? So how many total years was there, like money that we counted? It's really 5 minus 1, right? Because look at this. This is when it was the first year, right? So we had, when at year 1, we had $52,000. So this is X1, Y1. And then at year 5, we had $116,000. Right? That's X2, Y2. So here, we're going to have 116,000 minus 52,000 over 5 minus 1. Do you see that? So it's not 5, but 4 under there. So this is 64,000 over 4, which is 16,000. Okay, and this is your slope M.
Why is it 5 minus
Because this is how much, because you had the profit, right? Like you counted the profit at the end of the first year. Like you counted the sales at the end of the first year. So at year 1, you had this much. And then at the end of year 5, you had this much.
52,000 is the y-intercept.
No, it's like when happened. Huh? No, that's at year 1. Right? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so then
So now,
It's over a 4-year time period.
huh?
It's over a 4-year
Right. Okay. So now, let's write the equation for it. So y minus 52,000 is equal to 16,000 x minus 1. Distribute. $16,000x minus 16,000. And then if you subtract, y is 16,000x plus 36,000. Okay?
but it's asking like 12 years.
Right. There are two things it's asking us, right? So first writing an equation, which we just did. And then at the end of the 12 years, so after 12 years, y is going to be 16,000 times 12 plus 36,000, which is a lot of money. It's $228,000.
Wait, sorry.
Hang
I
on.
don't understand.
Hang on. Okay. Yeah.
How did you get the plus 36,000?
So I added 52, and then 52 minus the 16 is 36. Right?
Yeah,
So here I did plus 52,000 plus 52,000.
Yeah, that was 116,000.
Right. Okay. So the numbers all look similar. So this is x1, y1, but the slope is 16,000.
Oh.
So it's y minus y1 equals m x minus x1.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So we get this, and then after 12 years, now x, which is our time, is 12. Okay? All right.